When your days feel like a repeat of the days before, it's normal to feel like life isn't very extraordinary and to crave something out of the routine day-to-day tasks of a homemaker. We're going to chat about this today as I spend most of my day in the kitchen, but also tackle a few other tasks around the home as well. I'm so glad that you're joining me today. I'm starting out by washing out my Instant Pot insert because whenever I make soups or bone broth or anything that sits in there for a while, gets really stuck around the edges or on the bottom, some burnt pieces, and so I want to clean that really well. So I got out my magic eraser and got it clean as the best that I could so that I could get started by making some yogurt today. I had gotten out of the habit of making yogurt regularly, and after buying 10 cups of yogurt at the store and those getting eaten within 3 days, I knew that it was time to pick back up and get to making it again. The fact is that making yogurt is one of those tasks that just adds on to my regular routine because it needs to be done every few days or so to stay on top of it, at least around here with how much yogurt gets eaten. But routines, as wonderful and as helpful as they are, can at times feel a bit mundane. We as humans thrive on routine, and I'm sure that you're aware of that. We see this especially in children, but even us as adults, we thrive on a routine. Yet we crave more. We crave something out of the ordinary, out of the day-to-day typical schedule. I am getting our dinner prepped real quick. We are going to have what I call zucchini boats or spaghetti boats. I don't really have a great name for them yet, but the kiddos prefer spaghetti boats. Anyways, they're basically just zucchini with the inside scooped out with pasta sauce and ground beef in the middle. I do use all of the parts of the zucchini, so like once I scrape it out, I will saute it along with some onions, and I will end up making that as part of our pasta sauce. I will blend it up with our immersion blender, and nobody even knows that it's in there. I love to sneak in extra veggies wherever I can. I have to check on the yogurt periodically to make sure that it is getting up to the right temperature, so that I make sure I turn it off right before it starts boiling, and it looks like we are about there. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out so that it can start cooling off. Wait for it to get back down to about 120 degrees or so that I can add in the yogurt culture. I'm going to go ahead, chop the rest of this veggies, and please don't make fun of me because I know here in just a minute I am going to chop up the zucchini in a very odd way. I just start whacking at it in the bowl because I was like, I don't want to dump it out onto the chopping board and then have to scoop it all back up. It really doesn't have to be in any type of uniform pieces because I'm just going to end up blending it anyway, but I wanted them to be a little bit smaller so it'd be easier to saute them. So there you have it, the fanciest chopping that you'll see today. Anyway, we were talking about the ordinary and the just typical day-to-day schedule. It seems like the ordinary just isn't enough, and we want something a bit more extraordinary, at least extraordinary by the world's standards. Deep down, we are never going to be satisfied with anything of this world, and I think God designed us this way because we aren't meant to be satisfied here. The things here on earth that we consider extraordinary will only give us temporary fulfillment. So here I am going ahead and sauteing the veggies I was talking about earlier, some onion, the inside of the zucchini, some garlic, and then later on I'll add in some spinach as well. You could easily add in lots of different other veggies to this, like carrots would be a good option, lots of other greens. Anything that doesn't have a super strong flavor is going to be a really good idea to add to a pasta sauce, and it is easy to hide veggies in pasta sauce. So I'm going ahead and adding the yogurt culture. I like to use the Chobani because it has, I want to say, 6 active live cultures in it. Some of the other yogurts only have 2, maybe 4, but I'm pretty sure that Chobani has 6. Once you add that in, you put it back in the Instant Pot and let it ferment. I'd usually do about 9 hours, then stick it in the fridge overnight. Once the sauteed veggies are soft, I add tomato sauce. I will also add in the spinach. I like to keep spinach in the freezer all the time because you just never know when you might need it in a recipe, or could just toss it in to add extra nutrients. So one of the things I actually do is, you can buy spinach already frozen, but I like, every time that I go to the grocery store, I like to look in the section where the spinach is. And our store, I go to Kroger, they will mark down the spinach that is going to be going out of date soon. And I will buy that, and the very same day, come home, dump it into a Ziploc bag and stick it in the freezer. Usually it is much cheaper, and you get a whole lot more for the money that you spend if you do it this way. Cheaper than if you bought it already pre-frozen. And another great thing is the spinach is already pre-washed and ready to go. You don't have to worry about washing it. Sometimes I will lay it out on a paper towel and pat it and make sure it's nice and dry. Sometimes I just throw it in the bag. I leave a lot of air in there to keep it from sticking together as bad. And then once I get it out of the freezer, I will crush it up, and then you have chopped spinach. It's so handy and one of the best kitchen hacks that I have figured out. Now I'm fixing lunch. Sometimes I will sit down and eat a full meal. Sometimes I won't. Today I'm just kind of eating and snacking on stuff that I'm cutting up as I put it on the kids' plates. They love to have lunch meat and veggies. And today I'm also cutting up some of the potato flake sourdough bread that I have made. This is one that I made, I guess, a couple days ago, and they just love this bread. They probably would eat way more than half a slice, but I went ahead and just let them have one half, and then I'm going to have some myself, wrap it back up in saran wrap, and put it in a Ziploc bag to keep it nice and fresh. I actually think, I said Ziploc bag, but actually I put it in an old bag of loaf of bread that I had bought at Kroger a while back. Now I'm getting my workout done after lunch. You know, it's hard to get everything in. I don't get it all in every day, but I try really hard to make an effort to prioritize the most important things, and I feel like health is a very important thing that needs to be prioritized. And so I also think it's a good example to put at the forefront for my kids to see, trying to be healthy and keep my body in shape. And so if I can do it while they're awake to be a good example to them, then I try to do that instead of doing it in the morning before they're awake. So while they're playing, I am getting some of the puzzles organized. It has been a task that has been bothering me for a while, that's just been hanging over my head. I finally ordered some of these zipper bags off Amazon. They are just the perfect size. I was afraid that they were going to be a little bit too small, but they fit just right and don't have a lot of extra room. I'm writing what the puzzle is on the little labels that came with it, and I'm sticking it on the bags. But my plan is to take a photo of the box where it shows the puzzle, print those off, and stick them inside. I'll probably laminate them as well so that they'll actually hold up against children holding on to them all the time. And then I'm sticking it in a canvas tote that goes on our IKEA shelf. And this way, more puzzles are going to fit. My kids really enjoy doing puzzles. As you can see, he's like picking one up like, do not get rid of this puzzle. I've been going on kind of a rampage of clearing out toys because not only is it hard for them to keep their playroom clean whenever there is a surplus of toys, but they also don't play as well. They aren't enjoying their toys, and actually it's just too overwhelming for children to have too much stuff. And honestly, it is for adults too. I wanted to also talk about how it's important to remember that the routine that we have, or what feels like a mundane tasks, are not really ordinary at all. It's when we compare our lives to what the world tells us our lives should look like that we feel like everyday tasks in our home are less important, like organizing these toys or clearing out the mess that has happened. These things are kind of dreaded tasks, but they are tasks that are so helpful to our family, and they shouldn't be looked down on as just another chore. It can be looked at as, I am making a space for my children to thrive, and the place that they will enjoy, and a place that they can grow and learn through their play. Creating a meal, like I'm working on some bread right now, but creating a meal to feed your family, changing sheets, cleaning the bathroom, organizing the half-folded clothes for your family to wear, these are tasks that matter to the people that we love and that we care about and we care for. But you've got to find meaning in these everyday tasks. But that can be a struggle. I mean, for myself included, I have to constantly remind myself to find meaning in these tasks that are otherwise looked upon as like a dreaded chore. I recently read about an awesome but yet simple way to just change your mindset during these mindless tasks that we find ourselves doing day in and day out. And this is something I really want to try and start doing. While you are folding your kids' clothes, pray for them. Pray for that child. Or if you're folding your husband's clothes, pray for him. Whenever you are doing the dishes, you can thank God for the food that you have to make these dirty dishes, or that you have dishes to eat off of, or that you have warm running water to thoroughly clean the dishes. There's so many ways that you can be thankful in these tasks. You can pray for those who don't have a meal that day or are less fortunate than we are. Finding contentment in our circumstances is key to escaping the constant desire for creating a life that the world would view as extraordinary. I am working on lots of sourdough things right now using my potato flake starter. And if you've never heard about one of those, check out my blog. I will post a link in the description below because I really love this type of sourdough much more than the traditional flour and water sourdough. Right now I'm working on making pancake batter. And I also earlier was working on making a half whole wheat loaf. I did still use bread flour in that, but those are probably my new favorite sandwich loaf. So I'm definitely going to be sharing that recipe sometime soon. And I do already have the pancake recipe over on my blog. Right now I'm getting some aluminum foil to cover my sheet pan. This is just something that I have found makes my life so much easier, and I know that I could just make whatever it is onto my sheet pan and then clean it very well, but sometimes you just have to do what makes your life a little bit easier. And honestly, I feel like everybody has to choose where it is you're going to cut corners. Some people may prefer to wash dishes over using paper plates because they value reducing waste. Other people might not value that as much and find that their time is a bit more valuable in certain times of their life and just use paper plates instead of washing extra dishes. I know that there are times when I choose to use paper plates over washing dishes, and then other times where I think, okay, in this season right now, I have enough energy or mental capacity to get through an extra load of dishes. And so I feel like everybody needs to just kind of choose that on their own, because there is no way that we can always do it all. I think that we can always try our very best, and we can make choices to do our best in every season of life, but I feel like it's constantly changing. And so right now I'm able to add extra veggies into my sauce. Sometimes you might just want to buy a pasta sauce that is already made, and they actually now make pasta sauce that has extra veggies already added into it. So you can just choose where it is you want to put your energy in at this time in your life. Right now, I am putting the sauce and the meat on top of the zucchinis. I forgot to mention that I do season the zucchinis with a little bit of garlic salt before I bake them, along with some olive oil that I baste on there. Once I put the sauce on, I top it with some Parmesan cheese, pop it back in the oven, and kind of brown the cheese just a little bit, and they are ready to eat. I like it for our zucchinis to be pretty soft, but still have a tiny bit of crunch to them. So the next morning, I'm going to be making pancakes and dealing with our yogurt that has been sitting overnight. I also wanted to show you these birdseed ornaments that my kids and I made for presents for Christmas. I took, I guess, a couple weeks off of making videos during the holidays, and so I'm just now getting around to posting this one that I had started making before Christmas. Obviously, it's after Christmas now, but we really enjoyed the Christmas holidays. I really got to enjoy time with my family and focus on spending time with them, doing all the fun Christmas activities that are so fun to do with kids. One of my favorite things about making sourdough is the excitement and just the satisfaction of when it has risen or it's nice and bubbly. It's just so satisfying to know that you created this, aside from the fact that it's super tasty and much better for you than any other bread that you could buy at the store. It's just a fun hobby that is nutritious for my family. So I'm making pancakes, and they turned out to be so delicious. You know, I said that in my last video, it has been a couple weeks since that was posted, but in that video, I talked about the true value of a homemaker. And afterwards, I came across this quote from C.S. Lewis, who once said, "The homemaker has the ultimate career. All other careers exist for one purpose only, and that is to support the ultimate career." I just loved that. Homemaking is a job that will always exist. It will look different for everyone, but there has to be someone who takes care of the home, no matter if there are children or not, even if that person also works outside of the home. And this just really emphasizes the importance and the value of us as homemakers. Also, another quote that I found from Laura Ingalls Wilder, who is the author of a really popular series, Little House on the Prairie. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. If not, check it out. It's really good. She wrote, "So much depends upon the homemakers. I sometimes wonder if they are so busy now with other things that they are forgetting the importance of this special work." That spoke to me directly. It really makes me question, have I just busied myself trying to do so many things that give me what I would perceive as a greater purpose, that I've neglected the fact that every simple little thing that I do each and every day is the greater purpose. Every nose I wipe, every mouth I feed, every load of laundry that I wash, and the clothes that I fold, and the floors that I mop is serving my family. And what greater purpose can I have in life besides this, other than serving God and serving my family? I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's something that I need to hear, and surely if I need to hear it, that there's someone else out there that needs to hear it too. Thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out with me as I chat about some of these things that I feel are important, and sharing with you some of the things that I do in a typical day. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will make more videos like this. See you again next time.